What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got some awesome hieratic duels for you guys to check out, especially this first one that is going to be quite the doozy, facing off against Altergeist, which obviously is a competitive deck. And to me, the Altergeist turn one hand, it looks a little dead right now because you have two cards that really can't interact with each other. You need a monster in the graveyard for manifestation to be live, and you need a face-up Altergeist card for Conquery to be live. So neither one of these cards actually are live, but maybe the Pot of Duality will make things change. And the hieratic deck is one that I think a lot of people have forgotten about, but if it gets that Dragunity link, I know it's gonna sound weird, like Cap doesn't hieratic have its own link. It does, but the Dragunity link is actually better in hieratics than the hieratic link monster. It's just a really weird situation. There are other archetypes like that, but yeah, let's go ahead and check out these duels. Let's see if the Pot of Duality can unbrick that hand, and luckily it actually does. Not only getting a Niluseek, which he opts not to get, but he goes for the personal spoofing, gets Secret Village as well, and he gets a gift from his opponents here down at the bottom, where his opponent's playing hieratics and he's just going to pass turn. He does absolutely nothing. He does tag out for the personal spoofing as a cost, but he gets hit with Ash Blossom, so okay, it definitely worked out for hieratics there. His opponent is going to top deck an Ash Blossom, nothing doing there, he's going to pass, and this is where I just rolled my eyes here. He's going to pass for a second turn in a row, and I thought, all right, hieratics trash deck confirmed. You are literally doing nothing, my friend. You are not actually doing anything to stop this guy from progressing his game state with Altergeist in. You can't give Altergeist this many turns, right? Eventually they will get to something, and he does get to something. He hard draws in the Niluseek, he tags straight into Linkuriboh, gets his copy of Mary. He is going to go for the copy of Multi-Faker, but luckily, and this was so lucky, when he goes for manifestation, he changed the ghost spell. Since this activation was negated, he cannot summon the Multi-Faker, so now Multi-Faker is technically dead, at least until he gets to some permanence use. So let's see if he can find a way to somehow win this duel after pretty much just passing for like 2 straight turns and doing nothing. He's gonna go for the King of Tomb. That gets it with impermanence. That allows him to summon the Multi-Faker, but he is going to pretty much press through. He has the red eyes, and now he just goes into battle phase. Linkuriboh is going to be used to make a monster 0. He is going to probably bounce with the copy of Conquery, bounces the red eyes, but that does mean he could simply just summon red eyes, from its own effect, which he actually is going to do here. And he actually goes into the Dragunity link. That's going to get hit with the copy of Ash Blossom, but it's fine because he is going to use the Guard Dragons now. This is where the Guard Dragons just put in that work, in other cards like Light and Dark Dragon, them being floaters, them being monsters that inherently special summon from the hand. And look at the board he is able to amass after getting kind of disrupted a few times. He does summon a monster that I was not familiar with. This is Aether, the evil empowering dragon. When this guy is special summoned, you get to banish a card or banish a monster on the field, so that takes care of the Sequidius. And then he's able to also get the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, my favorite synchro monster in the game. Effect Veiler is going to be useful here as it hits the copy of Mary. When he tags out, that's going to get hit by Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. He still gets the trap card because it will resolve off field. However, his opponent doesn't get to keep the monster, so I think that's the most important thing. He goes on Borosword Dragon, and that is a wrap. He knows that he's not gonna survive this turn. It doesn't matter if he does happen to use the manifestation. That would simply be negated by the copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, so there's no way that he's going to be able to get any more monsters, and Conquery ain't gonna get the job done, especially when Borosword Dragon is going to attack 2 times. Second duel is actually going to be against Despot, so this is more kind of like a casual duel, and you can see what the deck can do from a going first standpoint. And heretics have always been a deck traditionally that operate better going second, like way better going second, but this one, because of the Guard Dragons, actually does have some legitimate going first plays. He's going to end with a couple of monsters on field that I didn't expect, and you see right there, this is why the Dragunity link monster is just better in hieratics than the hieratic link. The hieratic link, I believe, has an evac virus built into it. However, the Dragunity link monster allows you to get the Dragon Ravine, and then that allows you to get to Destrudo, which, I mean, right now we're seeing Destrudo in like so many different decks because it's an extender. It can summon it. Well, not only is it a link material, but it's also good for synchro summoning, and it can summon itself from your hand or your graveyard. So if you hard draw it, it's never really dead. As long as you got, even if you have 1 life point, you can still technically activate it. But it's just a really good card in a vacuum, and being able to get to it kind of instantly is awesome. Goes for Borolo Dragon, and also going to summon that Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. But in addition to that, He gets the Amorphic Goliath on board. This is a card that can like simply win a duel by itself. Unfortunately, it does have 0 attack and 0 defense, but it's fine because it means if your opponent wants to out it, if your opponent wants to use any of their extra deck plays, they basically have to commit their battle phase, which is that kind of sucks because your opponent's not getting any of their extra deck cards with being able to use the battle phase. So that's pretty good. And obviously they can't evenly match you because you do have the Hot Ray Dragon Archfiend Abyss to negate evenly match if they so happen to have that. Also, if they do happen to summon something small, you got your Borreload Dragon. The Despot player realizes I can't out this board, so I'm just going to scoop it up. Even if he would have attacked over the Goliath, he still has to deal with 1, 2, 3, 4 big dragon monsters, and chances are Atum's just going to summon something else, and he does have access to get Destrudo back during his next turn by paying 2,000 life points. Whatever he top decked, he could just send to the graveyard and then send Destrudo and just, basically do the whole thing over again with Destrudo. Final duel is going to be against Necroz. And it once again is going to be opening. There's not going to be any pop-offs in this duel. This is actually quite unfortunate if you're playing Necroz that your opponent has this. You go for Colossus, that gets hit by Called by the Grave. You go for Brio, that gets hit by Called by the Grave. I would have been probably 10% away from rage quitting at that point. He is going to use his Incantation. That's going to get hit with Effect Failure, and it's like, damn, dude, you don't really have that many great plays here. He does not attack. I think that he just forgot it. I think he's tilted at this point. He forgot to attack. Continuing on with him being tilted, he attacks directly. He says, Cap, I'm going to make up for lost time. Going to use that Decisive Armor. Probably should have held that, but whatever. Now that he has monsters on board, his opponent is able to use those hieratic monsters. Goes for the attempt, and he's going to attack into Unicorn because it does have 100 extra attack. His opponent's going to block that with the Valkyrus. Problem is, now that he did use Valkyrus, he is top decking Incantations, and they're not useful. Like, he can't really do anything with them unless you have ritual monsters. I just would have held it. I just would have let my my Unicorn die, because at least then his Incantations, which he top decked 2 in a row, would not have actually been they wouldn't have been dead. But at this point, you know that he can pretty much just pop off against his opponent, and you're going to see a really cool play here that I had never seen before. Obviously, there's going to be some guard dragons, as there generally is in all these dragon decks, but I think that Destrudo should be coming probably about the time that he activates the Dragon Ravine. You're going to see Ultimaya, which was really awesome. He did not use Ultimaya to summon the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss here. He's going to use Ultimaya to summon Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which was kind of awesome here. I guess he doesn't need to go for Destrudo. Here's the really sick play, right? So he's going to activate Borreload Dragon, and what he's going to do is he's going to activate Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon to negate his own Borreload Dragon just to gain the attack. I mean, I don't know. My pride probably would not have allowed me to kill my own Borreload Dragon, but I mean, he does actually end up getting the damage somehow. It's so weird how that interaction actually works, but he kills his own Borreload Dragon just so that he can have the Crystal Wing actually gain the attack, and he can actually OTK his opponent. Yeah, again, my pride would not have allowed me to do that, unless maybe if we were in time, or if it was like the final round of a premier event or something like that, or regional, then I would have done it. But overall, I just would have kept my monsters on board. I'm not killing my own Borreload Dragon to win the duel. I will win with the Borreload Dragon. Anyways, let's pause for a second and check out the deck list. Alright, so this is what the deck looks like on paper, and I believe that we saw every single monster in this deck, with maybe the exception of like Flameveil Guard. I think we saw everything used, all the hand traps, the Destrudo, the extenders, the Heretics. We pretty much saw all of them in those 3 duels. I think it's interesting just how popular White and Black Dragon are becoming. Not only are they just ridiculously good with synchro summoning, and this deck can do it with Destrudo, but they're like just naturally awesome extenders. They have so much synergy with link summoning, and really when you summon one of them and then you link summon, you end up getting the other one, and then you can kind of summon that one instantly, and you don't really use any actual advantage when you do that. You're using one monster to essentially get 2 materials. They also have great stats, and right now there are just so many good light and dark monsters in the game. We're seeing these cards be ran in Thunder Dragons because they serve that same purpose of link climbing, but at the same time, they can also be used to bring things like Destrudo out of your deck with Summon Sorceress, and they're also just really good because they have decent stat lines as well, 17 and 1800 respectively. This was a card that I was not familiar with, the Hieratic Seal of Supremacy. This one is one that allows you to special summon a Hieratic monster from your hand, which it's kind of weird because I wasn't quite sure if this is a go first or go second build of Hieratics. You do have the hand traps, which kind of lean towards go second. Same thing with the evenly match. But if you're looking at it from the other perspective, it's like, well, if you're playing a go second build, why are you running, 3 Called by the Graves? Why are you running the Hieratic Seal of Supremacy, which I assume is to, unload these Hieratic monsters from your hand when you are going first? I personally feel like you should just run this build as go second, keeping the evenly matches. Even if you don't get the battle phase, you saw that this deck could still make incredibly strong boards. I would just probably take this out, because if you're going second, you should be able to summon the Hieratic monsters inherently, and that does open up some spots. Maybe even take out the hand traps for like more kaijus, because I mean, what can your opponent really put on board that you can't actually deal with just kaiju monsters and with this deck inherently? So I would probably take these out, maybe even take out the Called by the Graves, and just kind of add in some more go second cards. I kind of feel like most decks in Yu-Gi-Oh right now either kind of had they need to have kind of like an identity, either going first or primarily going second, and this one kind of feels like it's in between, where it can do both, which is good. But I feel like if you're just going second, then you get that extra card and you're doing more or less what your deck wants to do anyway. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the duels. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.